Continue. Okay. So all right. So you can actually increase the width, the width of the border line. So that is it. So I've talked about forms, lengths, lists, tables, and then a little about HTML.
CSS.
Sorry, CSS. Yeah, I said the major thing, how to actually connect. First thing, once you link your CSS, how do you style it? First of all, you select. After selecting, what do you do next? You declare. After declaring, the declaration starts from the opening bracket to the end. Then every other thing inside it is where you have your property and the value you want to give it. The property and the value you want to give it, and so on. So now let's take this list for instance. Okay. Now, you remember when let's say I want to style this ordered list. Now, although I'll come to this, but I just want to show you what I've been talking about, IDs and attribute ID that is used for styling. Now, remember I have H1 here. I have H1 here. So I have H1 in different pages, okay? So let me actually style H1s before I do what I want to do. Okay, let's say this H1, I want to change all of them to capital letter. Or the H1, wherever they see H1, is changed to capital letter. What do? I can come here and do H1. I select it. That's the first thing I'm doing. I'm selecting it because that's what I want to start. And then I declare it. Next thing is the property. Of course, once you select and declare, the property is actually the main thing. How do you know the property to use? Of course, this is where your research skills comes in. Of course, you have to have something in mind. What I have in mind is actually to change that, the H1s, I want to change them to capital letter, to uppercase. So there is the property is called text transform. I already know it because I've been working with it. So these are things that maybe our next class I'll talk about researching about some things you want to do, how to go
Where
about.
the mosquito query?
So
você 100. Eu não conheço nem bad.
the person speaking should please mute. I cannot hear you.
Lá de chama. Eu acho assim 100 né?
Andre, please mute. Because we cannot hear you. Okay, thank you. So select text transform. What do I want to transform? Uppercase. I want to change them to uppercase. That is all. So let me refresh now. Of course, I think this welcome message here, I used H1 as well. So it should change to capital letter. You see, if you go to the other pages, let's go to the survey form. I used H1 for this as well. So it should change as well. See, survey form. Let's go to list. Of course, this ordered lists and this one, I used H1 as well. So they should all change to capital letter. See, capital letter, uppercase. Now, remember that, okay, let's say I just want to change only this particular one, ordered list. I don't want these other ones to be affected. What do? That is where IDs come in. So instead of selecting using H1, because there are other H1s available in my code, different places. So what do? I think that is in lists. Yeah. So since I want to do it, just this one, I give it an ID. It's just like as a student, you have your ID card that identifies only you. So I'm only identifying this particular H1. So let me call it ordered So now I want to style it separately. So I want to select it. How do I select IDs? How do you select IDs is you use hash and the name of the ID. The name I gave it is ordered. So you use hash plus the name. So see what will happen. Let's refresh. You see that the others have left. Others now are no longer adopting to this capital letter stuff. It's just this particular one. Let me still show you another page. You see, this one now will come back to the normal form. You see, same thing here. This will come back to the normal form. You see, so that is what we do with IDs, just to identify one particular stuff. So you will style it separately. So see what I did? I selected my selector. Now next class we'll talk about different types of selectors. I selected and then gave a property and a value. They are all inside my declaration. Of course, I can add extra properties like the color if I want to change the color of that particular text. Let me see what color it is now. It is black. So maybe, let's say I want it to be pink. So I come here, type pink. Let's refresh. See, it's pink. It's only affecting it. So you can add multiple properties in a particular declaration block. Okay, so here is your homework. Your homework is basically here on this Tutorial Republic. So you replicate the same thing I've done here. You have links, head images. Okay, I didn't talk about images. I didn't do images. Now next class we'll talk about that. Links, tables, list, forms. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. These 4 pages, just create pages for them. The same way I did here, we have page for form, we have page for link, we have page for list, and we have page for table. Just do the same. Also, you create your CSS file and link it the way I did. Link it the way I did, and then follow the instructions and do whatever it is they are doing. Like if you open these links, this particular one, you open it. You come here, see, by default, you read it up. It's just writing about stuff. You see, anchor tag, href, this is where we take you to where you want to be. And then the link text, what you want the person to see before they can actually, what the person will see before they can actually click on it. So look at that Google one I did. Paste the link and then maybe you add the text, what people can see. And you read it and fill out the rest. This is the target, you see, underscore blank opens the linked document in a new window or tab. I talked about this. Then the other ones are the underscore parent, underscore self. These ones are hardly used. The one that is mostly used in websites is this. Because once you click a website, you want it to open a new tab. You don't want it to open on that same tab and cover what you're doing before. So you just want it to open in a new tab. So these are examples. Just copy, paste them out, and paste. Okay, so now let me open this one. Tables, just the same thing. Copy this, write it out yourself. This CSS, since you have linked your CSS, just copy it and paste it on the CSS page. You know, and try out different types of lists. That's what you do. Just read it up and practice. Practice, practice, practice. This one is lists. There you have ordered and unordered list. Okay. They also talked about the styling here. See? So you can just copy this and paste it in your CSS. Selector. This is the selector. They selected the UL. That's what they want to style. This is the declaration. And then this is the property and the value. And the value. So when you go through these 4 things, the links, the tables, list, and forms. And you still have enough because our next class is on Wednesday. So when you do it, do the same thing. You reach out to me on WhatsApp, the group chat, of course. Don't DM me, just on the anything, any question you have on the group chat. That's anything I iron it together so everybody will see it. So that maybe those that have the same question wouldn't bother disturb me about it. They can just look from what I responded and do the necessary correction, the necessary things. So once you do it, you can always reach out and paste it, send take a screenshot and paste it on the groups. I will see it. If you are confused about anything, just reach out, ask the question in the group, I will respond. So once you're done with it, you can always look at the CSS styles, HTML styles. Although I just talked a little about it. You can just look at it. Then do for now. What as I'm looking at it, so I won't be confused. What we have been doing is external style sheet because my CSS is on a different file. There are other styles, inline and embedded. Of course, in our next class, I'll talk more about this. So you can as well, if you have time, if you are conversant with the links, the tables, the forms, and the list, which is your homework, on which is what we treated today, you can also read it up. You can also read it up and maybe write down the questions you might have about this. If you ask me a question about this, maybe about these styles, like the in-depth, apart from what I've discussed in class now, I will tell you to wait till our next class because I need to talk about it before you actually ask maybe advanced questions on this. So same thing for HTML images, you can as well maybe go through it or maybe leave it, don't go through it so you won't get confused. So I will have to discuss that in our next class. So that will be all. So what is left is for you to maybe I recorded this session so you can go through and practice and practice and practice. Practice what makes perfect. So when you start writing codes and writing, you become conversant with them. So it's not something that you just look at, maybe you are just reading and you're not actually typing or practicing. And remember, the more you type, the more you become conversant with your keyboard and it makes you, learn faster. Learn faster. So that will be it. So any questions? I want to record the questions that you might have. Any questions based on this session now? Any questions before I close it up? I believe I can stop sharing.
Okay, how can we still get the videos like having it recorded? How can we still access it now?
Okay, I will send it in the group.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
I'll
you.
send it in the group. So any other question, based on what we have done? Any question you might have that maybe you might not have the patience to actually watch it in the video first. You feel like maybe you want me to reiterate on that particular stuff before we close.
Sorry, I'll draw a little bit back. I mean, in the last section, I remember asking a little question because now you briefed us on something about the input attribute element.
Yeah.
When I was trying to actually apply that the
Placeholder.
attribute in the previous assignment, yes, that you gave
Okay.
us. So I maybe it was a mistake that I added another input, which wasn't the one that's supposed to actually go with the placeholder. Because if you check that assignment, you see that the first one I said there was the placeholder was there. Then trying to add up the other ones, it wasn't showing me the placeholder. So I wanted to know if it's normal to actually have the different inputs that has a placeholder or separately.
Wait, I don't get. Is it based on the assignment you pasted in the group?
Yes, yes.
Wait, let me look at it. Let me look at that stuff again. That assignment. Remember I said let's look at it. You added placeholder now. Is it not? You have your name, the name input, you have the phone number input, you have the password input. The only one that you didn't add
The first one.
placeholder is the submit button, which is input type of button, which has a value of button.
Yes.
So is that one is the one that you did not add a placeholder, because that value is what will be showing on the button itself. So you don't use a placeholder for that particular one. Yeah, so there are types of buttons, types of inputs that you might not necessarily need a placeholder. So you're right. So there are types of inputs that you may not necessarily need a placeholder. And one of them is type of button. Although there is another way of creating button, which is a button element. They have button element itself. So if you don't want to create button using input, you create it using the button element itself. Maybe in our next class, you will remind me, so I will show it as well.
All right, I will.
Okay. All right. Any other question?
Sir, me is when I reach there on the road, as I told you, when I reach, I will drop a voice note to help me. Is on this selection, declaration, property, and especially on how you navigated on the selector and the declaration is what I would like you to throw more light on it, sir. Thank you, sir.
The what? Come again.
I said the selector, the declaration,
okay.
The property and the value on how you derive from the main.css that you created, the file that you created, how you were able to put it together on the index and link it together on the main before you start your selector and the declaration, sir.
All right, no problem. No problem. When you go through the video now, we are doing the homework. If there's any confusion on that, just reach out in the group. Of course, I said we'll discuss more about that CSS in our next class. So don't worry about that. All right, then. In the absence of any other question, that will be all. So I will drop the videos in the group chat. All right. Have a nice day. Enjoy the rest of your
You too, sir. Thank you, sir.
Of your day.
God bless you, sir.
It's already late.
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks. Good night.
Yes, sir.